Welcome to The Explainer. I'm your host, and today we're playing impartial referees for an absolute apocalyptic showdown. We're talking about a hypothetical winner-takes-all war between two of the deadliest threats in all of Tantalin lore. On one side, the world-ending Enders of Mistfall. On the other, the cosmic world-devouring Voidborn. We're pulling the lore straight from the source material to figure out exactly what happens when the Voidborn send a full invasion army right into Mistwood to destroy the Enders. And let's assume the forces are about even. So who actually walks away from this? Let's get right into it.
Here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with Section 1, a clash of nightmares. Then jump into Section 2, the Ender threat. After that, we'll meet our second combatant in Section 3, the Voidborn swarm. Then things get wild in Section 4, tactics, Mist versus Void, before we wrap it all up with Section 5, the final verdict.
All right, Section 1. A clash of nightmares, a hypothetical battle of apocalyptic proportions. Okay, let's set the ground rules here. Absolutely no outside help. No human empires swooping in at the last second, no dwarven armies crashing the party. Just a pure war of attrition, an even match where two world-ending forces go head-to-head right in the valleys of Mistfall. It's kind of the ultimate theory crafting experiment, right? We get to see which biological strategy actually reigns supreme.
Now, the physical contrast in this matchup is, well, it's honestly terrifying. Over on Side A, the Enders are just these monolithic nightmares. We're talking 8 to 10 foot tall organic bark and flesh hybrids with the sheer muscle of an ogre. But then you look at Side B, the Voidborn, and their scale is totally unpredictable. I mean, they literally range from microscopic embryonic infections all the way up to towering 60-foot shadow spinners. So it's really a clash between this massive, unified physical wall of muscle and an infinitely adaptable cosmic swarm.
Let's move to Section 2, the Ender threat, the horrors of Mistfall. Let's see what's actually boiling up from that valley.
So, what are we dealing with? Well, the Enders aren't just your standard monster of the week. They're a literal apocalyptic containment problem. Picture this, a twisted, hyper-violent hybrid of bark and super thick roots just splitting through flesh, all tangled up with antlers, hooves, and predator jaws. And the whole thing is fueled by deeply corrupted nature magic. You absolutely cannot reason with them. They don't speak at all. And oh yeah, they exclusively eat raw flesh.
Just to put their canonical threat level into perspective, the lore gives us this incredibly stark warning. It says they are prophesied to break all empires. This isn't just a local nuisance. This is a force explicitly designed to overwhelm and completely consume the mortal realm.
But how do they actually fight? Let's walk through their signature 3-step attack pattern because it is flawlessly sequenced. Step 1. This incredibly thick, unnatural mist rolls in from the valley. And this isn't just fog. It literally short-circuits detection spells and completely breaks line of sight. Step 2. Total, suffocating silence. The birds stop singing, the insects vanish. It's your ultimate terrifying warning that they're here. And then, Step 3. Because that mist ruins all visibility, the Enders unleash a devastating point-blank ambush. They use their massive size, claws, and fangs to just butcher whatever's in front of them.
But wait, here's the real kicker. Their assimilation mechanic. Enders don't just kill you and move on. They use that corrupted nature magic and fungal growth to basically connect tree-like body parts and stitch their wounds back together instantly. Fallen comrades and, worse, fallen enemies are dragged back into the mist and resurrected as warped, enlarged, totally mindless parts of the Ender horde. They literally use their dead enemies to endlessly replenish their ranks. Talk about a nightmare.
All right, on to Section 3. Let's shift gears to the cosmic subterranean horrors of our invading army. The Voidborn swarm. Echoes from the endless dark. This is a threat older than gods and, frankly, hungrier than death. First off, the Voidborn aren't a single race or species. They're an entire category of horror. Spawned and twisted by the void, they're completely alien to the mortal realms. They are driven purely by an infinite hunger to hollow out reality. You know, they don't build cities, they don't dream, they're just this endless array of glitches and invaders designed to infest, consume, and just erase everything. To counter the Ender's big, monolithic approach, the Voidborn bring a highly specialized, diverse army. You've got breeders, right, like hive heart pits and mucus pods that literally harvest victims to grow new thralls. Then you've got hunters, think void stalkers and void shrikes, handling precision kills and dominating the sky.
For the front line, you've got siege beasts like web fiends and chittering horrors for just brutal devastation. And finally, the elites, skittering reanimators and Zithras, a literal 60-foot queen that brings absolute god-tier destruction to the battlefield.
And their tactics, absolute nightmare fuel. Biomechanical void stalkers don't just run up and attack you, they start as a sickness and literally erupt from inside infected hosts. Then you have skittering reanimators, which actually crawl into the corpses of the fallen to pilot them around like some sort of broken clockwork. You've got void shrikes raining down from the sky, tearing into things with curved talons. And these massive web fiends and void spinners that spit webs of black energy and soul threads. And get this, those webs literally paralyze soldiers, locking their bodies perfectly in place.
Which brings us to Section 4, Tactics. Mist versus Void, the assimilation paradox. What actually happens when Mistwood's ecosystem of death meets the Void's cosmic hunger in a full-scale, all-out war? Let's smash these two forces together.
When they clash, their tactical styles couldn't possibly be more different. Mistfall relies entirely on that thick, magic-nullifying mist to blind the enemy. They want to force brutal, close-quarters combat where their 10-foot hybrids can just dominate and instantly stitch up their wounds. But the Voidborn tactics completely bypass all of that. They use aerial strikes from way above the mist. They use those paralyzing soul webs. And honestly, think about it. How does thick mist hinder a biomechanical stalker that's already incubating inside your own nervous system? Plus, a lot of the Voidborn don't even have eyes. They operate purely on cosmic intuition and hunger.
So, this brings up the ultimate tactical nightmare of this whole explainer, what we call the assimilation paradox. How do you outlast an army that also uses your dead? Because both of these factions rely incredibly heavily on infecting, harvesting, and reanimating the fallen.
To quote the Voidborn lore directly here, death is not escape, it's recruitment. In this specific war, every single casualty on the battlefield creates this endless, terrifying feedback loop. If an Ender dies, the corrupted magic tries to stitch it back together. If a Voidborn dies, the Enders try to drag it into the mist to assimilate its biomass. And if an Ender falls, well, a Voidborn skittering reanimator is just going to crawl right inside its skull and pilot that giant hybrid body against its own horde. It is an absolute chaotic slaughterhouse loop.
So, who actually breaks this loop? Let's move to Section 5, the final verdict, the fatal math of attrition. Based strictly on the canonical lore, we are stepping in right now to deliver the final tactical breakdown.
Let's look at the fatal math for the Enders. Now, their resurrection rates are incredible, mostly because they function as one living ecosystem of death. But, and this is a huge but, to permanently kill an Ender, to stop it from just getting stitched back together by those magical vines, you must destroy the body. And according to the lore, the only canonical weaknesses that actually pull this off are fire, very specific elven arrows, and acid. If you don't hit them with those, the Enders are just going to keep getting right back up.
And that brings us to the massive turning point. The beast you're looking at here is a chittering horror. It's a Voidborn siege beast made of fused limbs and melted faces that literally leaves trails of acid everywhere it goes. It spits the melted remains of souls. This means the Voidborn possess the exact, hyper-specific biological weapon required to completely bypass the Ender healing factor. They have acid.
Now take a look at this number, 0. While the Voidborn pack the acid necessary to permanently put down the Enders can inflict exactly 0 permanent damage to the Void itself. The Voidborn aren't just some finite population you can wipe out. They are an infinite array of horrors spawned from the dark beyond the stars. You smash a Void Thrall? Great, the Hiveheart Pit just grows another one. The Enders are basically fighting a cosmic hunger that simply spawns new, highly adaptive horrors from beyond reality itself.
So, here's our final verdict. The Voidborn win. When the dust finally settles, the Voidborn's paralyzing soul webs freeze those massive Enders right in place. Their aerial dominance completely ignores the ground-level mist. Their skittering reanimators hijack the Ender's own dead. And most importantly, those chittering horrors melt the Enders down with acid, completely dismantling Mistwood's whole war of attrition. Mathematically and tactically, the cosmic void hollows out the corrupted forest.
But you know, that leaves us with one final, deeply provocative thought to end on today. The Enders were already prophesied to break all empires just on their own, but if the Voidborn completely consumed the apocalyptic Ender horde, combining all of that towering, corrupted hybrid biomass with their own endless cosmic horror, I mean, could any force left in the mortal realms possibly survive the aftermath? Think about that for a second. Thank you so much for joining us for this explainer, and we will definitely see you next time.